Hi guys, hope everyone is well. Welcome back to the video. So today I'm going to break down the Southampton Leeds game. It was 2-2 in the end. I'm going to go through, I'm going to talk about, I'm going to go through our goals, their goals, how we could have avoided them, what caused the goals, our goals, about the system, how the system created the goals, teamwork. And then I'm also going to go through the press and what happened in the first half and the second, between the press and the pressure they put on, how that happened and what changed. That's what I'm going to go through in this video. Yeah. Hope you guys enjoy. But in this part, I'm going to talk about the press, and I'm going to compare the press from the first to the second half and see how it changed and what caused the press to kind of fail in the game. In the first half, so this is we just cleared the ball up and they won the header. And what they've done with the header is they hit it in the air, and Bamford's got his body in front of the defender. And already from this press, this is what 10-15 seconds in. So as you can see here, we've won the ball in this area, and the press is already on. These guys are moving up like this, and you can already see the second ball is ours. We want that second ball. Bamford gets the ball here. There's all these options that are ready to run on and create space up forward, right? Run on like that. This is the first half, and this is the first few seconds of the game. We're already in an advanced position to win the ball, win that second ball after the press. Then not a minute later, maybe about a minute later, we've got the ball up in this position. But I think we lost the ball up here, and they played the ball in around this area. And as you can see, that is Gineppo. We've got Erasmus on him, Aronson on him, Rodrigo on him, Bamford on him, Adams on him. The initiative is there already. And we're talking about the press, and I'm not going to show hundreds of examples because you already know about it. I'm just showing how repetitive it is and how this system is ingrained in the players' minds. Look, it's 5-on-3, even 6. If Llorente takes a risk and comes up here and they move round. So you're not giving them a lot of options. The only real option here is to either beat his man 1v1. But then you've got Aronson coming in to cover, you've got Adams coming in to cover. Or to play it back here, he makes a move up here, or play it over this area. That's it, we're limiting their options with the press. It's really good. What happens in this situation, and this is just an example of where positionally we need to adapt slightly. So Gineppo gets the ball here, and he runs up here, and obviously Rasmus isn't going to go all the way, so he sits. It draws Aronson in. He knocks the ball past Aronson, and then this is it, right? If you can beat your man and go backwards, which is a less conventional route, you have options in here. See the options it's got. Because of how hard we pressed, what we had was like this. Yeah, we had this situation here. So he's drawn these three in, and all it takes is one pass out there, and you're suddenly seeing how it works. But then it's about the second step and getting into shape in this area here, so you don't get overrun. And what they do is they give the ball here to Romeo Lavia, who the obvious pass is out here to the fullback. But what happens is these both commit to that, and he just simply turns. And there you can see it. Simple pass. That's what happened in the game, in this situation. So with the press, you can see a way in which people beat it, and it's either with that individual quality 1v1 or doing something unconventional, going back, dribbling backwards through midfield in this area. Usually you'd associate a winger with going forward, but dribbling through and creating areas in this space where the winger can then break the lines, and then he just simply gives the ball here, and then you can see the issue. But what they do in this situation, and I think there's a wrong thing, is they kind of play. Obviously, these guys are still recovering. He plays this quick early ball here, while Rasmus is out of position. About here, and then you've got a 1v1 again, which I don't think Rasmus does. Sorry to him, I don't think Rasmus does a bad job in this 1v1. But obviously he fouls the guy. I don't know whether it's a foul or not, and they win a free kick. So that's what happened in the situation. I guess you could ask yourself here, with Romeo Lavia, Rocky gets beaten, Harrison get tricked by this guy away too easily. So I think in the situation here, you've just got to stand your man, cut that out, and make them play out wide, and then come over, and then you've got numbers. Because for me, if we do that, and he tricks him and he's straight in there, you're in big trouble then. So all it could take is a ball through, him to go out here, him to come out wide. You know, he brings him in. Ball out there, you're in. Even this guy, if he's quicker than Adams, comes in. He's got to engage. You see the gaps. So it's this area here where we kind of struggled in certain areas of this game. But you can see the initial press is excellent. It's about that second stage when they beat that first press is in here, just sticking with your man. And Rocker did that excellent a lot of the game. This is just one situation where you can see the press being exposed in certain situations. But for the main part, we did a good job. It's just I'm showing this one specific thing because we've seen the good job, so I'm just showing how it can't work, how we can get exposed through it. And this situation here, what's just happened is Rodrigo has done a bad touch and lost the ball. And I think it's Romeo Lavia, ignore the numbers. Romeo Lavia wins it here. And again, he was looking for this one. No, bypassing the midfield, maybe one of these passes in here. But what we do here is, this is the press. It's an excellent job. What we do, we don't allow it. There's no ball through here. The only option there, you see we're in this position, the only option is out here. So this is a few minutes later, and we make that option correct. We do the right thing this time. There's no gap, there's nothing, there's no way out, there's no way through here, there's no way. So we make them play out there. And then that pass goes out there. We have a lot of time to come over, sit back in position like this. There. And that's how we should use the press in that situation there. That's how it can be really good. You can see there, look, there's nothing for them. You know, so these guys will move up, but we're in a good position here. No lines can be broke. Yeah, this is like 5 minutes after the original one. About 4 minutes after. This is 5:17 into the game. And it's exactly the same position. So Erasmus is here with Gineppo. And it's exactly the same as before. So he comes in here, but this time Bamford's dropped deeper. And Rodrigo's picking up this gap. Bamford is on Romeo Lavia, who did the thing before. So what that does is it creates space for Adams and Rocker to operate in here. Whereas before Bamford was up there, you know, and Harrison and Rodrigo were out the picture, meaning Romeo Lavia in here had space to turn and pass. But here Bamford sat deeper. He's on Romeo Lavia for this one. And it's given Rocker and Adams that space to cut out these passes in here. Gineppo comes up here. There's no options on. You can't go here. Rodrigo's watching this area. Bamford's here. Harrison's on Ward-Prowse. Unless it's an excellent pass over the top. The only pass on is here or here. And Gineppo goes here. That's the press. Done. You see the position we're in. There's no open gaps. There's no space in behind. This is a good position. And this is what we did. Now the first one, which I showed, this is a spitting image of it. But this time it's so different. He ran inside exactly the same. There's no way out. So for me, a lot of people talking about beating the press as the weakness, which is true, obviously. If you beat any press in any team, you'll get through. You're in. You're basically in. You know, you beat the midfield, you're in. So it's about this. It's about doing this more consistently. It's about learning this way. Maybe Bamford drops deeper, or maybe even Rodrigo does that job on the central midfielder like that. And these two just have this. These two are vital. If these two are up here, and this press gets beat, yeah, you're seeing the problems now. You can come right out here. You're seeing the problems, right? This space, this tunnel here, big problem. If these two can sit, do their job, he leaves him to him. He's free, or he's free. One of the two, doesn't matter. Covering this, covering anything here, covering anything that breaks out. He takes him on covering. He passes it out there, goes over, comes over, covering, follows him. You see? So it's these two in here. These two are vital. for any type of press. These two set the tone for where everyone else can press. If they're in a good position, these guys can go crazy. Even one of those could join them. Harrison can tuck in. Then the only ball is out wide. As long as this area is covered, Leeds are happy. Yeah. And in terms of press, I think the first half, that was it. In terms of press, that was what we did a lot of the game. We won but like last game. I'm not going to go through that again. But yeah, first goal for Leeds United. What a goal, by the way. This is 26 seconds into the second half. What happens is Llorente, who is up here, by the way, ignore these. These are just extra players. Llorente wins the ball here. He wins his 50-50s with Che Adams. Che Adams tries to clear. Llorente is right on there. The ball comes straight out here, straight to Harrison, whose first touch is magic, as we know. And it's simple goal. He was talking about René Maric, and how he said about crosses, how he doesn't like most crosses. There's a certain type of cross, and this is the certain type of cross that he means. Harrison kind of walks a little bit in this position. Walker-Peters comes over. Harrison's occupying this area here. And it's Rodrigo's movement, which is incredible. Harrison's occupying these, so it gives him a little time. Walker-Peters doesn't want to commit too much. Harrison puts an excellent little low pass cross into this area here. And it's all about Rodrigo's movement for me. Starts off here, comes straight in front of them. Flick. Just a little flick, just a touch. That's all it needed. You can kind of see the situation here. Harrison's like here. And it's just one of them. It's just a pass into the box. A nicely whipped pass. Front post. Keeper's not saving it. 1-0. Simple as that. It's not even something you need to really break down. It's just winning the ball in here, which is the Leeds part of that, and the little short cross to the front post. And I must say, by the way, Rodrigo, Jesse Marsh changed it. Obviously, the James was a quick fix until he understood the team and the shape, and then he switched Rodrigo, which worked. So, well done to Marsh for doing that. Yeah, that's the first goal. But yeah, it's the second goal. The set piece, and isn't it good to see a scoring from set pieces? Set pieces can be very good for a team. People talk about, I don't want to rely on set pieces. You look who scores and concedes less from set pieces every season. I guarantee you, it's either the champions or a team that's finishing the top 4. Man City scored the most set pieces last season, I believe. Set pieces are a very good tool. There's no reason why you would not want them. And this was a good goal. And I think you find it simple. But, so what happens is, Aronson here, obviously he's going to whip it into Strauch, who's going to run for the front post. James starts here. Rodrigo starts on the keeper. And I think what we've done is we've researched that Southampton plays zonal here. They mark up, ignore the Southampton players. I've done this after the goals they scored. They mark up here. But in these three here, zonal, which we've obviously seen and exposed. Jacko is the set piece guy apparently now, so he's seen this. And they stick by it. They don't move. So we've seen this area here as potential. So Rodrigo's done this. James has ran here. And he took a guy with him. I can't remember who it is. He's took a man with him. Say it's this guy. Rodrigo's just peeled off. And these have not reacted. They are playing zonal. They are relying on winning this ball here. They're thinking, how's it going to get to him here? And how is it going to get to him? He's right-footed. That's going to curl out. There's no way it could get to him. But he's just walked off. And what we've done is great header. And I think this is what we meant to do. Because you've got to remember, we have a coach doing this now. And we've identified this. We've identified that these guys don't move. These zonal here. We keep these guys away. Strauch or Koch wins this in here. James takes him off. There's a spare man that is meant to be on the keeper. Inexperienced, the keeper probably doesn't say anything. He probably presumes they're going to win that, or it won't get to him. But that is perfect. That header from Strauch is inch perfect, by the way. Inch perfect. He loops it over. Keeper's here. Rodrigo's here. Absolutely no one on him. Great movement. Great goal. A lot better than what you might think. It's not just a corner. We have researched and looked at this. I promise you. Maybe Strauch was aiming for here. Maybe he was aiming to score. maybe it's just one of them, aim for either or. We have a guy in there. If it doesn't go in, he can tap it in. And against Southampton, a team that do zonal in this position, it worked. And it's an excellent goal, in my opinion. It's a really good goal. But yeah, in the second half, well, the first 15 minutes were brilliant. But then what happened was Southampton went for it. You know, it's 2-0 down the 60th minute. Manager under pressure, that they went for it. They brought attacking players on. They brought this guy, number 7, Aribo, on. They brought Armstrong on. And these two here changed the entire game for me. They changed everything. We couldn't deal with them, especially Aribo. And I'll go through it. Aribo changed everything. That big physical player, Leeds couldn't deal with. So yeah, literally minutes after he comes on. So the ball's up here. I think this guy boots it, and then it comes into here. And you got Adams here with Che, Aribo, and Rocker. And you can already see Southampton's shape. They went for it. They're exposed back here. There's just two back. You know, you got these men in here who could counter easily. But what they did was they won the second ball. It wasn't us. And this is a theme for me. What happened was in the second half, they brought Aribo on. They brought Armstrong on. They went for it. They went really attacking. They went direct. They kind of copied us and said, we're going to do. And if you look at the players here, who in a Leeds shirt is there to win the ball? This guy wins it here and he kicks it in the air and the ball's coming down here. Aribo wins that second ball. Where are the Leeds players to win it? This press wasn't good enough. You see? There wasn't really a press. That's about the 60th minute. So the initial pass was here. So then you've got to win the second ball. We didn't. That's two parts of our philosophy that we've not done in the space of 10 seconds. We've not pressed here. Good enough. We've not won this ball here. And Aribo wins the ball in here. Goes straight to James Ward-Prowse. Dan James has come over to James Ward-Prowse. Right. James Ward-Prowse got the ball here. Look at the men. These guys are nowhere near. These guys are not even in the picture. Rodrigo's walking over here. Is Aronson there? Aronson's not here. He's up here still. Tired, maybe. And James has been sucked into here. Suddenly you see the problem. Where's the press? In fairness, they're close, like that. But you've got 5 men running at U2 or U3. That's outnumbered, and that's what we shouldn't be in this position. This tight area on our side where the ball is should be ours. We should have more men there, and we don't. These three, in my opinion, were either tired, they didn't react quick enough, it was too warm, I don't know. But these three have to be up there, especially Aronson and James. They have to be in there. They have to be. So what they do is they work it around here, and actually, James does come in here and does a bit. This is afterwards, by the way. But he 1v1 Gineppo. Gineppo passes it back. He takes him out, and it takes him out. And then they play the ball back into Gineppo here, who's on the wing. Yeah, sorry. He's on the wing here. He's took one pass back and one pass back up. Has took these three out. Gineppo's here. So that means Tyler Adams has to come over here. Rocker's here with Che. And Aribo's come in this position here. In between Llorente and Koch. Causing problems in this area. There's no one around him. Rocker's actually back here. And it's Koch over here like that. Right, there we go. You see? You see the lines? The gaps? These are out the game. So Adams has come over here. But the rest of the team haven't reacted with Adams and Rasmus. Rocker doesn't know whether to go because of these guys here. Koch's kind of watching him. But Aribo's in behind Koch. So it's causing problems. And look, it's 4v4 versus 3 actually. Armstrong plays that dummy run. Gineppo takes the ball out here. Armstrong drops off. These guys both follow him. 2v1. That 2v1 there. Adams stutters. Do I go here? Or do I stay with the ball? Yeah. And Gineppo beats Rasmus and Adams. He gets the ball in the box. And I'm not going to move everyone. But what happened basically is this. Rocker don't know who to mark. The quick substitution happened like that. The players still don't know who they're marking. Cock, Llorente, and Rocker don't know who to mark. Aribo's floating. Adams is floating. Like that. Strauch's on Adams. Aribo is in this area, in between the gaps. In between these guys. The ball comes into him. Rubbish header. But the point is, it's the gaps. Players not knowing. The press only works if players know where they're meant to press. When they made these substitutions, they were on attack straight away. They didn't give any time. So the players didn't have a clue who they were pressing. Aronson, James, and Rodrigo didn't know if they were meant to go or stay. And that created problems, 1v1s. They had overloads in areas where we should have overloads. And this is a theme that kind of continued. And I'll show 2 more examples of that. And then after that, I'll show the goals. I'll go through the goals. I think after that initial chance they had when they brought the subs on, I think we adapted slightly. We had a good area of possession after that for about 5 to 10 minutes where we basically kept the ball. The final passes, we had a few chances. The final passes weren't on. We didn't create any scoring chance, but we had a lot of the ball after that until the drinks break, which is where the problems come in. Yes, on the 65th minute, this is where they had the good chance from Harrison. From Walker Peters, where Harrison cleared, sorry. And this happened here. So this is their centre-back with the ball. He's got the ball up here. He's carrying it. No one can really engage him. Brock is thinking about it. Adams is in here thinking about it. James is in here. And just look at that. So for me, what they were trying to do, Aribo was just sitting in here, linking with Walker Peters. Because they give him the ball. Walker Peters is a one-on-one. Maybe there was less press on the left side. At this side, you've got James and Aronson. But on this side, you don't. You don't have those higher press players. And whereas Strauch and Harrison do press, and Rocker do press, they're not Jesse Marsh pressers like Adams, Aronson are. Right? And then we're using this pace of Walker Peters and his energy to get at Harrison 1v1. Because Harrison has to go to him. If Strauch goes to him as well, and if Rocker goes to him like we were doing in the first half, the problem is Aribo here. Because he was always in between the men. And he'd make this run, he'd make this run. So then there's a problem if you do this. Because, especially when the players are more tired, this exposure here is what killed the game for us, in my opinion. Say we did this, 1v1 here, Walker Peters and Harrison. Rocker's watching in here. You know, and you've got a question, if Aribo's in here, whose man is it? And Strauch would often go to him. But what I'd argue is Rocker follows him. But the problem with that is this. Aribo would just do this. Then you've got to communicate. Take him. We didn't do that. I think understanding who they had to mark was a big issue, as opposed to tiredness. I think tiredness was an issue, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it wasn't. But in terms of tactics, didn't lose the game because we were tired. We lost the game because of tactics. I apologise, I said lost the game many times. We didn't lose the game. It felt like it. We drew the game. We didn't lose. When I say lose, I mean draw, all right? As in lost the lead is what I meant. We lost the lead. My apologies. In this situation. Does Adams come in here? No. He's playing up here. That's what's happening. Then he gets space. You see in the space, it's a 2v1 over there. Does James come in here? Aronson in here? And this is what happened last week. You'd think this, right? This space here. But then that's what happened last week, where we were extremely defensive. We couldn't get out. When we win the ball then, we have nothing. He's covering here. He's there. Rodrigo's up here by himself. If we win the ball in here, we don't really have anything. He'd come over, he'd sit. He could even sit in here. Right? So we don't have a way out. So we didn't do that. So that was the situation we were dealt with. Walker-Peters was getting it out wide. Their centre-back was pushing up. Aribo in this position was deadly. And Lavia would come up here and create 3v1s. You see what I mean? And they just keep the ball, like Wolves did. They keep it. The centre-back would push right up. So we have to find a way in this situation how we counter this. How do we counter this? This fullback literally could go right out here. Who's going to him? Is that Harrison's man or Strike's man? Say Harrison's man. Okay. He's going about 1v1. You have 3 guys in here. Right? Adams, you'd imagine Adams would be in here too, and Rocker. Cock in there. With Llorente. But it's behind the ball. And of course, if you press, like we did in the first half, there's now, because they've pushed the centre-back forward, there's 2 spaces, even 3. He can't come out because that creates space here. And that is insane. And Aronson was tired at this point. He couldn't keep doing this. He just couldn't. So that was the issue we were dealt with in the second half in terms of the press. How we couldn't press because they had an extra man in midfield. Because they brought the centre-back forward, leaving space for the extra man all over the pitch. It's 1v1s as well. Because what happened is, when Walker-Peters got through first, it wasn't Harrison, he was over here. Strike versus Walker-Peters in this position. And Walker-Peters beat his man. And the second you beat your fullback, you're in, right? Luckily, I think he cut inside and the shot wasn't great. But it's the 1v1s, and that comes down to fatigue and tiredness. But having said that, Walker-Peters and Strike played the same amount of time. So why is Walker-Peters fitter than Strauch? That's what you got to question. You know, I think in terms of fitness, I get it. But at the end of the day, a lot of these Southampton players, Walker-Peters, played 90 minutes as well. Gineppo was tearing us apart in the second half. He'd started. Walker-Peters had started. Lavia had started, and they were fine. Our players looked tired, and obviously that's to do with the press. So it's about negotiating the press, I guess, right? Yeah, like I said in my other video, there's not one thing to blame. It's all right saying they were tired, but shouldn't Walker-Peters be tired? Shouldn't Gineppo be tired? It's about understanding the tactics, understanding intensity. It's nothing to do with necessarily being tired. And that's what happened with the press. We couldn't do the press because they brought extra men. Their centre-back who started was running forward here. Their centre-back was doing that. He should be tired. And you could say, yes, we press more. Yes, we do. So then, is the issue fitness? 35 degrees and you're pressing that hard for that long, is that the issue? I guess we didn't know that. We've not played in that heat with this team. The players don't know. It's never been that hot. It's the hottest day in Premier League. We don't know how they'd react. Now we know. Luckily, it won't be that hot ever again. So that's what you got to think about. It's all right saying Jesse Marsh made this mistake, this mistake, this mistake. I understand that. But there's other sides to it. They're not knowing. It's all right for us looking. Jesse Marsh is over here, right? And I'm just being realistic here. Think about it. You are him. You're Jesse Marsh here. Harrison is at this side. Everyone was saying Harrison was the most tired. Right? Harrison was over here. It's hard to see he's absolutely knackered from this side. Unless someone tells him. Did they tell him? He needs to come off. He can hardly walk. Did Harrison tell him that? I don't know. Footballers don't, do they? So it's easy to blame someone. But there's many reasons why we lost this game. In my opinion. More tactically as well. So what created the goals? So what happened was they take off Bednarek, which I believe was 35. They brought on Madja. I think it's Madja. So I'll just say his name. Something like that. So they took off a defender and brought on another attacker. Like, they were going for it. They were really going for it. So then you've got to adapt. Right? And this was during the drinks break. So then you've got to think, all right. So they were already causing problems. And then they brought on another attacker in Madja. I think Leeds were linked with. So then you've got to And you can't just do it in 30 seconds. You have to understand what their formation is, how they are playing. You can't just bring a player on and put him in a position. You know, you have to understand where he's playing and what his role is before you do it. That's what you've got to do. And Madge's not really played, so it's hard to look at previous games and see how he's affected the game. This is a unique scenario. We don't know who he was, where he was playing, and what his role would be. So we need to take a few minutes to look at that. And that's just football. Anyone that's been around a football team knows that. You can't just take someone off and put someone on. You have to look at it. Take 2 or 3 minutes to see who he is, where he's playing. That's what you have to do. That's a fact. So yeah, they made those changes and they brought on Madge. And this is what they looked like then. It was a 4-4-2, but if I'm being honest, it was 2 at the back and 6 in midfield. Extremely attacking. But we didn't have that energy to counter that. So they look like this. You can already see the issues. Right? 2v2s here. Does he come? Create space. Bring over, create space. It's similar to what happens with Wolves. They found space in areas. And I think we needed to adapt quickly. But when they made the substitution, we had the ball for 2 or 3 minutes. So it was hard to see what it looked like when they had the ball. Do you understand what I mean? So we didn't know how to react when they had the ball in this area. And then basically the first time they got the ball, after made these substitutions, is when they scored. So then that's when you have to react. You know, when they made this substitution and went very attacking, we had the ball. We had it. So we didn't know what would happen. Yeah, right. Their goal. So this is the shape it started out with. Gineppo gets the ball here and gives it into Armstrong. There's the ball. There you are. You see? And this is the guy who scores, by the way, and he's out here at the start. He's obviously running in. Ward-Prowse is running in. He's coming in behind. It's like this. And you can see, if you look at the men, we're 1v1. In here, look, 1v1. He's got no one on him. So what happens is this. Gineppo gives the ball in here to Armstrong. Right, fine. How's the press? So Adams is jockeying him. Rasmus tucks up on him, which is what you want. This is what our system is. That's fine. That's a 2v1. That's good. The problem is this. You know, he manages to keep the ball out here, plays a little pass, straight through them both. Straight through there. He's quicker than them two. Much quicker. Armstrong is extremely fast. Cocky's so tight on him. There's the issue. Ball in there. And you can bring it down to tiredness. But for me, what you've got to do is here, look. And it's the same as last week. You have to win that. Don't let the pass. Just don't let him pass through you. He's passed it through them both. You've got to cut that out. That's the issue. You can talk about tiredness, but what I'm saying is Armstrong's been on for 10 minutes. Don't matter if you're tired or not, he's quicker than you. Anyway, he's quicker than these two anyway. He's extremely quick. So if they're tired or not makes no difference. He's quick. And he's always going to beat them in that race. The problem is the pass. You've got to cut that out. Adams holds cock up. He gives it. Knocks it off. He's quicker than them. So they're left for dead. They're gone. He comes in here. Like that.
Armstrong works it away from the Leeds players. Now it breaks for Armstrong into the penalty area toward.
Then it's obvious after that what happens. He runs in. Llorente's coming out here with Madge, which leaves space for Aribo. Rocker, obviously, that's about 3 seconds, by the way. So him getting the ball back and coming in here, Shroud tucking in, it's attacking momentum. Call it tiredness. I'm watching the game back and I'm telling you right now, it's attacking momentum. He's anticipated he's going to win it. He's extremely quick. He's quicker than Rocker. They get there first. We didn't anticipate we'd lose it that quickly. We didn't anticipate. That's mental fatigue. That's more than physical. That's learning and understanding the situation. He gives it. Madge dummies it. We know what happens then. He does a few tricks. You're all right to get back. In fairness, we get in front of the ball. But, yeah, it goes in, doesn't it? A bit of skill from Aribo. He's a good player. And that's a problem for me. It's easy to say tiredness. It is easy to say that. But in this situation, he's come from out here. He's always going to be quicker than Rocker. If the defender was quicker than the attacker, there'd be no goals, because he'd always be here. There'd always be goal side. He's quicker than him. He had space. You don't get that time in the Premier League. This is the problem. This is it. These two cannot let Armstrong pass that through there. That kills us. That is the reason we conceded the goal. That wasn't to do with tiredness. I don't care if these are both fit. That pass can't go through. And he's always going to win that there. Always. And that's how they scored. In my opinion, that's what happened. But in continuation of all this was what you saw this Wolves game. We then reacted in terms of, what do we do? So we sat deeper. And that just drove this guy on here, the fullback. We tried to sit deeper in here. We tried to do this. But by this point, they have momentum. They have fresh legs. And this is where tiredness comes into it. We didn't have fresh legs. This is what tiredness is. The goals were not to do with tiredness, but I promise you they wasn't. The first one was nothing to do with tiredness. Believe me, it wasn't. How many times? I need to relax. It just wasn't. But, yeah. That's what happened. They pushed this guy up. They pushed the fullback. They needed it. Look, they needed all these guys in here. And we didn't have the energy in here to counter. That was the issue. Just like last week when we changed it. We didn't this week. And Jesse Marsh admitted it, and fair play to him. But we lost the game. And it's all right saying we lost it because of tiredness. But watching the game back, we didn't lose it for tiredness. The reason the second goal came was probably because of momentum and we didn't bring anyone on like last week. Yes. But the first goal was nothing to do with tiredness, in my opinion. Yeah, the second goal. And this is an analyst. It's the most frustrating goal, in my opinion. This is extremely annoying. You know, the other goal is one moment where you've got to stop it, and this is many moments. So Rasmus holds Adams up well here, in my opinion. He holds him up well. But you can already see the issue. They have the ball here. Our midfielder's at the wrong side of the man. That anticipation. That came from this. So the keeper kicks it long and it goes straight to Adams, who controls it. So these guys are turning and running that way. So they're already reacting. Southampton was already high up, so they're recovering. And the second he has it, they react quick to go into here, but it's too late. Adams gives the ball to Madger. Rocket sort of comes in this position. Adams is behind him, hustling, but he's not getting anywhere near it. Madger runs in here with it. And the problem here is Aribo, for me. Because this pass is disguised. You think he's going to pass it to Aribo, who's in this position, like he has been all game, in space. Harrison was in this area was kind of like, do I go, do I stay? But for me, this goal, and people criticising, saying he blamed Harrison. What I would say is there's three of... Adams misses a tackle on Madger in here. It's a 50-50 and Adams misses it. And Adams, in fair to him, has won them all game. But this is the one he needed to win. And this is what happens when they don't win. He didn't win the 50-50. Madger sees this pass here, and it's a great pass. In fairness. But you can't let that happen. This has to be a win in here. This has to be a win. In this position, he's not good. I'm a fullback. Harrison will know in this position where he should have been. He's too close and high up to Walker Peters. He allows that. He has to be just 2 or 3 steps in here. That's it. He's here. He has to be here. That's it. That's the only difference. And if we talk about tiredness, for me, tiredness give them momentum. We couldn't get out. We saw it against Wolves. And if we wanted another goal, if we wanted to take the pressure off, we had to change it. Yes, I agree. We did. Jesse Marsh said that. We had to change it to allow this situation not to happen, to allow the overloads, to not allow all that stuff. But we didn't. But the individual goals are not down to tiredness. The individual goals are down to mistakes, which I guess you could cause fatigue. But this is just simple. You're a professional footballer. Not here. You need to be here. You understand that could come through this gap. And it wasn't tiredness because he then sprinted this far. He then sprinted from here to here to try and block it. Sprinted. So he's got it in him to two steps to the right. And that's just positioning. And he plays it through there. Yeah, he scores. If you're here, just stand there. You've got to understand where you are on the pitch. And I guess the initial was he was kind of here, so he didn't know whether to go to Aribo or Walker Peters because he didn't know whether Adams would win the ball. And Adams didn't win the ball, so he's got to react quick. But I'd just say come in here. At least then the pass could be outside, and then it's a bit more difficult. You can come over then. But it's positionally for me, and that's when he blamed Aronson, that's what he meant. But Aronson's not a defender at the end of the day. He's an attacking player, and he's been excellent this season. But in this game, by the way, he was amazing. Going forward, he was so good. But it's just little things like this that you'll look at in an analyst session. You'll look at it with the coach and the analyst, and you'll say, look, you need... And he'll go, okay, right, I need to be a bit further in, understand. That's how you deal with that. That's how those goals can be avoided. Adams has to win his tackle. He has to cut that out. And that's simple. It's that simple. It really is that simple. Make them play out. Don't let them come through the middle. Everything they want to do is through the middle. Out wide is a gamble. They've got to beat you one-on-one. You've got to rely on one-on-one defending. In here, there's no defending. They're already in the goal. They've skipped one-on-one. So yeah, that's what happened with their goal. In my opinion. My overall opinion is, so there's a lot of, there's a lot of people talking about what went wrong and the tiredness and the negativity, but for me, there's a lot more positives than negativity. The goals are easily avoidable. The goals can be avoided by one tackle and a step, 2 steps inward. That's what a goal can be. That's the little bit between a goal. And it's about being consistent with those moments so that doesn't happen again. The next week, if we have a similar situation, the goals are the same, that's something you need to work on. But the position of Jack will be talked about. The position of Aronson and the position of Adams and Rasmus as well. You've got to cut that pass out for that first goal. You have to cut that pass out. The system relies on that. So maybe after the pass, maybe say Clark has to stop Adams from knocking the ball back. I said this last week, individual battles. This is a huge part of the game. And for a lot of the game, we did it. But I think when we don't do it, we have to find a way to react to what happens, right? And that's the risk of this. I guess there's no way you can really react to it. If you don't win your battles, you're in trouble. And it's about defending the area, defending the box. It's about getting people into the box and marking the men, which didn't happen for the second. But in terms of the tiredness thing, I've already alluded to it. And listen to my words. I don't think the individual goals were down to tiredness. I've gone through them and I've explained why they're not. People say, oh, well, Jack's position was because he was tired. After that ball went through, Jack sprinted 2 or 3 yards. He can walk 2 or 3 yards forward to cut the pass out. Mental fatigue, potentially. But physical fatigue, no. He's not a left back. He doesn't understand that position. And for the first goal, it's making your tackles. They sprinted over to him to confine him. They wasn't tired. They wasn't absolutely tired. Not like people are saying they are. They just wasn't. They just didn't get across. They didn't cut the pass out. Simple as that. What I would say is, in terms of fatigue and tiredness, the reason they were able to come on to us for 15, 20 minutes was because of that, yes. That is guaranteed. But what they did was this. They really went for it. They were panicking. We wasn't. That's the issue, right? We were not panicking. They made changes. They just put players up front, play up there, play on the wing, play up front. And we were obviously more relaxed and we thought we could deal with it. But we didn't anticipate the players that were coming on. We didn't anticipate the positions they'd play. And not making a sub allowed them to progress forward like the Wolves did. The subs changed that. I think Jesse wasn't sure because he wanted to keep that structure, and he thought maybe at 2-1, he thought, if I change it now, it could all go apart, and that's what he admitted. He said maybe I could have in hindsight, but what do we know about hindsight? Everyone's saying, "Oh, well, we were screaming. It was obvious we needed to change." It was obvious to us watching from up above, yes. But if you're giving players feedback and they're fine and they're reacting to it, yeah, all right, yeah. And it's hard to say, "Come off, you're tired." If the player goes, "No, I'm not. I'm fine." Because players pride, they don't like to come off when they've got a head injury. They don't want to play on. But I do think subs were needed. And it's something to remember. You also got to remember you played in 35-degree heat, and the 1v1 battles were not good enough. The players that beat Aronson and Rasmus to the goal, Gineppo, played 90 minutes too. You probably get a running stat to see how much he ran compared to those. If you really want to go down that rabbit hole, did he run more than them? Let's see. Walker Peters. They were able to do it when they were tired, playing in 35-degree heat. Did we press more? Probably. Yeah. But Gineppo ran a lot in that game. Walker Peters ran a lot in that game. So, there's questions on that. So, we'd like to blame, and I'm not going to blame. I don't think it's down to one thing. I think it's down to a mixture of things. Positional, winning your tackles, individual mistakes. But the goals were really good. The goals were team goals. We were not relying on Rafinha. We were not relying on an individual to win us a game, which we did all last year. It's a team game, and it's really good to see that every player has a role. The corner, for example, Strowick and Koch are in that position. Strowick is there to head it. If he misses it, Koch will do it. The guys at the edge of the box, Llorente and Rasmus, were there to take away the men that were roaming. Because they knew there was 3 or 4 in the middle that were zonal, and there was a gap. If they could get the header in that position, there was a goal. A low cross, good goal, good movement. Marsh moving Rodrigo up front. Good decision, good movement. I think we got a lot right. There's a lot of negativity, but watching the game back, we played very well. We were better than in Wolves, in my opinion. We played a lot better in that game than in Wolves. In that game, there was 10 to 15 minutes where we didn't do great, and that's because we needed to make changes. But in Wolves, there was 20 to 25 minutes where they dominated. And it's coming along, and I'm really looking forward to it. So people say I'm too positive and all this. If you want, I don't care. My role in this situation, I want to find ways we can improve. There's always room to improve. I said that well weird. There's always room to improve. So that's my take on it. I'm probably looking forward to next week. Let's just stop blaming individual people. People saying Rasmus played really bad. Look, there's areas he can improve, yeah. Of course there is. There's also areas he does really well. I think at the back when he's got the ball, he's assured, he's calm. His forward passes maybe just need a bit more connection with the players up front. His one-on-one defending is difficult, but you've got to deal with that. And he's got to understand his body position. Stuff like that, little stuff like that. People saying Aronson played really bad. I was going to do a bit on Aronson in this, but it was going to be too long, so I might do an individual video. Aronson was excellent this game. His final third impact wasn't as big, but his middle impact in the middle area was excellent. Really good. So that's all I'll say on that. Yeah, I'm looking forward to next week, Chelsea. Oh God, that's going to be fun to analyse. Yeah, thanks for the support. This took hours, so I don't ask for it a lot, but I really appreciate a like. This took hours. I had to watch the game back twice and get individual bits. So thanks for the support and appreciate you all, and